Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is your boy Alex. It is a Thursday night, but I'm not going to upload this YouTube video until I think either Friday morning or Friday afternoon, because I'll be doing some more YouTube videos when I make my long-awaited return back to the Grove Park, so you guys can see me in clear resolution and good picture quality and sound. Now, this YouTube video is going to be called Sex Game, Sexy Women I Like Who Like Anime and Reading Books. It's a very new, brand new video concept. Once again, this is like the second video in the series. Part one was very well received, so I appreciate it. And I want to say thank you to the women and the men that watch my YouTube videos and my YouTube channels. I really appreciate it. So I want to say thank you to black women, white women, Latino women, Asian women, BBW, Goth girls. And I want to say thank you to the men, and I also want to make out some shout outs. So I haven't been making those shout outs in the last 5 or 6 YouTube videos because I've been occupied with going on job interviews. I've had to postpone and change my date at the dentist, which means next Monday they got to pull 3 teeth. I know it's going to mess up my appearance a little bit, but part of self-improvement means to self-improve, and sometimes it's not easy when you got to do self-improvement, so there's that. But I promise you everything will be smooth and ready to rock and roll after that. I mean, 2 more trips to the dentist and then we're done, because they got to pull 3 teeth. Then they got to give me partial implants, and then we'll be kind of finished, and then the third one will be the progress to see how well I'm going after they do all of that. And that's 2 trips, but that takes like a month and a half to 2 months. That's not what this video is about. So the title of this YouTube video is called Sex Game, Sexy Women I Like Who Like Anime and Reading Books. Now, part one was very well received because that one was talking about women speaking multiple languages and rock music and what I like about that. Now, here are some more qualities I like in black women, white women, Latino women, Asian women. Don't matter if you're tall or short, BBW, Goth, young or older. I'm talking about as far as women. And yes, the video is for women and for men. I was supposed to put that in the last title of the video a week ago, but the title of the video was way too long for YouTube, because YouTube made a new rule: if your title's too long, it's not going to let you upload the video. I mean, it's always been like that, but it was a way too long title, but it was necessary. This one's going to have the caption saying it's for women and for men, so both can watch the video. Now, what I like about women who are into anime, I find women who like Star Wars, like I told you in the last video, I like women who are into Star Wars and Star Trek. I find them very physically, sexually attractive. Now, the animes that women are very knowledgeable in will shock you. Like, if there's some women that are into Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, I actually think that's very physically, sexually attractive of a woman who's into anime like Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, Inuyasha. That's another badass anime. And of course, let's not forget Attack on Titans. You can't go wrong with Attack on Titans. Like, everybody watches Attack on Titans. And you'll be surprised and shocked how black women, white women, and Latino women, and Asian women, and even some Goth and BBW women, they know some anime, okay? That's when you find out women are very smart and very intelligent. Now, some men actually like it when a woman has knowledge of anime. Some men are into women that like sports. Like, there's some men that like women that are into basketball and football. Here, I'm into women that likes anime. I don't care if it's Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, Inuyasha, Attack on Titans, Bleach, One Piece, Naruto. Those are the animes that I see a lot of women are into and they watch. I don't care if it's Pokemon, Digimon, Super Smash, Mario Brothers. If a girl wears a t-shirt of Halo, oh, I think that's hot. I don't care if it's a black girl, a white girl, a Latino girl, an Asian girl. It could be a BBW girl or a Goth girl. Don't matter if she's tall or short. If I see her wearing a t-shirt of Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, or Halo, I'm going to find the girl very physically, sexually attractive. So there's a lot of animes, and don't worry, I will eventually make another video about anime. There's a lot that you can do with the title of anime. I put anime in here because a lot of times if you go to a coffee shop or if you go out to lunch or dinner, back when I was in film school, there was a lot of girls that were talking about Attack on Titans. And I was like, cool, a girl that likes Attack on Titans. But let's talk about books, because this is going to be half and half. What I like about women who read books is that not only it shows the brilliance of a black woman, a white woman, a Latino woman, an Asian woman, BBW, tall and short, a Goth girl, young and old, is that the books that they read are very good. Like going to a cafe, the bookstore, is where you really get a crash course in how to build up your social vocabulary skills. Like for people who are so super nervous when they go to nightclubs and bars, restaurants, cafes and bookstores are the best places to go to practice your social skills. That's how you build your skills up. That's how you learn how to talk to a man. That's how you learn how to talk to a woman. It's like practice. Like when you play basketball or football, there's practice, and you might go to 2 or 3 practices that might take up 3 days. And then your next basketball game won't be until like next Friday or next Saturday where you play another team. Well, I like women who read Harry Potter books. I actually read the first 3 Harry Potter books before they even made it into 7 movies. So I do like black women, white women, Latino women, Asian women who like Harry Potter books. I don't care if it's Harry Potter, The Hobbits, Lord of the Rings, Twilight, and especially my all-time favorite, Game of Thrones. These are some pretty good books to read. And sometimes when I go to a bookstore like Bowman Normals, I always go into the book section and I always ask what new releases came out. And that's how I practice my social skills. That's how I get better and carrying intellectual conversations with black women, white women, Latino women, Asian women. I don't focus on, the stereotypes. Like it could be a super sexy, fine ass golf girl with tattoos and piercings, and I'll be like, what new book came out? And she'll tell me everything about the book. She'll tell me this is the book you should be buying. This is the book that you should be reading when you go out to lunch and dinner. This is the book you be reading when you take somebody out to lunch and dinner. And I will have like at least 7 to 8 conversations and 7 months in a bookstore because I went and read some books. And that's where you have the best interactions with black women, white women, Latino women, Asian women, BBWs, golf, women that are tall and short, young and old. And you'll be surprised that they'll be able to tell you so much about the book that that's enough to make you buy the book. And then you'll get a lot of information, a lot of feedback, a lot of positive energy. And the more you go to the bookstore and the more you focus on your social skills, the better you get in conversations. It's like practice. You go to a library, you go to the bookstore. Boardman Normals is where I go. Some people like to go to a library. Some people like to go to their college library on college campus, places like UCLA, USC. You go to the bookstore there or the library there, and there's no talking in the library. But when you go to a bookstore, you can kind of talk. There's a cafe. When you go to the cafe, that's where a lot of the conversations start. And it doesn't matter who you speak to, you practice your social skills. And a lot of times, women will actually strike a conversation up first and say, that's a good book to read. And you'll be like, oh, yeah, that's a good book. And they'll tell you everything about the book. Like the last 5 books that I read at Bourbon Normals, a woman suggested I read and buy the book. Before, the bookstore closed down temporarily and then it reopened back up. Any bookstore I go to, a lot of times, women are very intelligent because the books they buy are so good that they recommend them to me to read, and then I'll choose to read them. And if it's a good book, I'll buy the book and read it. Like the very last book that I actually read was a book about vampires and werewolves, and it was a very good book. But the book sold out, and by the time I thought about buying the book, they had to restock. And to me, when you go to Barber Normals, they have anime books like Attack on Titans. And I remember this one girl told me, you gotta watch the anime. And I said, which is better, the anime or the book? And the woman told me the books, 85 to 90% of the time, are better than the movies and television counterparts. Every girl I asked, black women, white women, Latino women, Asian women, like I'll say, what's better, Lord of the Rings or the books? And the women will tell me the books are like 5 times better than the Lord of the Rings movies. Now, we all agreed that the Hobbits were okay films. They weren't on the same level as Lord of the Rings, but they were good. But the books are better than the Hobbits. Now, I'm going to say I like the Lord of the Rings movies as much as the Lord of the Rings books. And then I've asked girls what you think is better, Twilight, the movies, or the books. And every woman I asked this, black women, white women, Latino women, Asian women, BBW, young and old, they 99.99% tell me the Twilight books are 90% better than the movies. I've asked it with Vampire Diaries. Women told me the book's better than the television show. And to me, the women are actually right, because if anybody's really good at telling you that the books are better than the movies, it's women. That's the one time I actually sit down and listen to everything a woman has to say when it comes to books. You know, most men be embarrassed and intimidated because they've seen all the movies, and then the woman be like, did you read the book? And you'd be like, well, I want to read the book. And the woman be like, if you read the book, you would know what they put in the movie and what they took out of the movie. And a lot of times the women be knowing what they put in the movie and what they took out of the movie than I do. See, I focus on television and film aspect of it, and the women are good, and that's how you get screenwriters. That's how you get women that break into television and film. A lot of those women usually read a lot of those books, and then a lot of those women get jobs as screenwriters, and that's how they break into the film industry, and they do television and film. That's how you get a lot of women that are screenwriters. And to me, if it weren't for women, where would a lot of us men be? We would actually be lost in translation. So basically what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is that it's always good to go to a cafe, go to a bookstore like Bowman Normals, and just read books. The more books you read, the more you learn. The more you learn, the better you get in developing confidence. Now, I know everyone has heard that word confidence like at least 50 to 100 times or 1,000 times get thrown around on the internet, and some men don't really believe in the word confidence, and some men do believe in the word confidence. But what I'm trying to tell you is if you go to a Barman Normals or a cafe just enough and you practice your social skills, you'll get better. And the more you get better, the more conversations you get. Then you can take it outside the bookstore, and no matter where you go, you can always get a conversation. That's how you'll know you're getting good with conversation. Then when you go on a job interview, that should be treated as practice. When you go on a job interview, you always focus on your social skills. And to me, any woman that's into any anime, not just Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super, but if women are into Star Wars and Star Trek, I'm going to find those women physically, sexually attractive. It don't matter if it's a black girl, a white girl, a Latino girl, Asian, tall and short, BBW, Goth, young or old. If women read books, I like women that are into reading books because they have a personality. You know, it's always good to do something new and something different. Like I told you in the last video, if a girl likes poetry, I like poetry. If a girl's into art, I like art. I mean, I done art when I was a kid, but they're knowledgeable about that too. And sometimes you will eventually run into 2 or 3 girls that read books, that just happen to read books, do art, and do poetry. And sometimes if you're lucky, I'm talking about if you're a guy, you're really lucky, guess what's going to happen? You're going to eventually meet a girl that can speak multiple languages and teach you how to speak multiple languages. I'm talking about if you go to the bookstore just enough time, like at least 6 to 7 times, maybe in 9 months, you might run into 2 or 3 girls that might speak French, that might speak Portuguese, they might speak Spanish, they might speak Japanese. And once they teach you how to speak those languages, you're going to be so good at it that people are going to say, man, how you learn how to speak those languages? But it starts with going to cafes and bookstores. See, when I was in college, a friend told me you need to go to the bookstore. And I said, why go to the bookstore? And he said, because if you go to the bookstore, it will help you with your social skills and you'll learn how to talk much proper and much better to women. Women will understand you better. Women will hear you better versus you just say any random stuff. And that's when my homeboy told me, don't be looking at all the movies and television shows. Actually go to a bookstore and carry a conversation. Like when I go to UCLA College, right? When I bought my UCLA jacket, well, I struck the conversation with a girl at the cash register, and it was a positive conversation. And it felt 100% natural. It didn't feel so forced. Like, it didn't come from out of nowhere. It was actually me actually talking and her reciprocating. And that actually helped. So the more I would go to UCLA and go into the bookstore and buy, this item or that item, the more I practice talking, the more I practice my social skills. Now, I'm not saying that because I go to UCLA college or I go to Barber Normals that I expect anyone to just right off the back, it's going to work. That's why I said you have to go a total of 6 to 7 times before you know for sure that it actually works 100%. But it's good because it's good for women and for men. The books, Harry Potter, the Harry Potter books, the Hobbly books, Lord of the Rings, even the Hunger Games. I've asked women what's better, the movies or the books. And 99.99% women know they shit, okay? Though this is one of the other areas that you don't ever challenge a woman. Black women, white women, Latino women, Asian women, because they have statistics that women read a lot of books and they be knowing what they put in those movies and those television shows and what they take out of the movies and television shows. I don't care if it's Vampire Diaries, the originals. Women read the books and know what's considered a correct interpretation. Same thing with Twilight. I always ask the girls what's better, the movies or the books. They say the books is better than the Twilight movies. Hunger Games, Diversion. I always hear women say the movies of Diversion and Hunger Games don't even match the interpretation that come from the books. The only one that I've heard women say comes close to that interpretation is Game of Thrones, because they wrote the Game of Thrones books before they turned them into a television show adaptation. So women know they shit, okay? Women know them books because women read a lot of books. And that's where I started to get put on game. I had some black women, white women, Latino women, and Asian women at the bookstore put me up on some game when it comes to the books. You see, I have my share of books. Like, I used to read The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, The Invisible Man, Frankenstein's Monster. So I have my favorite books that I read. I also have a comic book of, they don't, in Japan they don't call it a comic book, they call it a manga. But I have my share of favorite books that I read. So this video was basically to be redone over. I don't want to make it too long and too short. Until next time, peace.